Guys, what's going on? Bill Nichols here, BillNicholsTV. I want to give you a little bit of a construction update and then tell you something that I'm going to do today. So no worries. I'm not going to start vlogging. I'm not a vlogger. I have an event that I'm going to tonight that I thought you would be interested in. We're going to check it out, but first, let's do a quick construction update. So you've seen before, here's the studio. So I've started building flats. So a flat, if you don't know, it's just a wall for a set. So basically, these walls are going to go from this stick over here, over to there, that's about 16 feet, 32 feet over, another 16 feet up, a couple of rooms. But these are the flats. Basically, they're 1/4-inch Luan, 4 foot by 10 foot, made by 1x3s, stapled and glued. And on the back, you've got your stiles, your toggles, your rails. And that is it. So I've been building the hell out of these things. My little assembly area here. My trusty little miter saw over there, and all kinds of wood. So I've got about 10 built, I've got 10 to go, then I can start priming, painting, assembling the rooms, doing everything there. So right now, the space is still pretty empty, but it's getting built, things are coming. So tonight, I'm going to drive to LA right now. There's a DJI event at New House in Los Angeles. I think they're gonna show the new DJI X7 camera. It's a super 35mm sensor supposedly, 14 stops of dynamic range, so a bit bigger than the X5 that is on, or the X5S that's on the Inspire 2. So I have an Inspire 2 with the X5S. I love it, the picture's incredible. I'm gonna be really interested to see with this camera if it is the X7 with a DL mount, which is gonna be a DJI mount, basically be supposedly 4 prime lenses coming, up to 6K at 60 frames a second maybe. So we're gonna find out. So I'm heading up to LA now. Let's get up there and see what this event is like. All right guys, so we're here at the DJI event. It's about to kick off. Pretty sure that we're gonna see the X7. I know that my lighting right now sucks. Lots of DJI stuff out. Nothing of what they're gonna show so far. So pretty sure we're gonna see the X7. I'm gonna get some highlights of the event, give you my rundown afterwards. All right guys, I don't know how hard it's gonna be to hear me, but here at the DJI event, they did just unveil the Zenmuse X7. Overall, pretty amazing camera. And what some people are gonna say is a high price, but what I'm gonna say is actually a really good price. The camera itself, $26.99. Lenses run about $1,200 or so. There's 4 primes that are coming out with it, but you can get those 4 primes at a 4-lens set for $42.99. And while $8,000 for the camera and 4 lenses sounds crazy, this is going to shoot up to 6K with 14 to 16 stops of dynamic range. The footage that we saw looked amazing. Hearing some of the coloring, the color science, what they put behind D-gamut, some other things look awesome. It does use a new lens mount called a DL mount, which is specific so that they could make it small. So what they did was, in a typical PL mount, you've got a flange distance of about 52mm from the back of the lens to the sensor. In the DL mount, they shrunk that down to 16.84mm, which makes this a camera that they can keep the same size with, or just slightly larger than an X5S. They're also coming out with CineCore 2.1. CineCore 2.1 is a new processing engine that gives you a lot more dynamic range. So now with CinemaDNG at 6K, you're gonna be able to shoot 30 frames a second at 12-bit color. You're gonna be able to shoot 5.2K in Apple ProRes now at 60 frames per second, or 59.94. Overall, an awesome camera, awesome system. They've also got a new cool project coming out called Vertex. I'll put a little bit of it in here and I'll talk about it, but basically Vertex is kind of this pre-planning, pre-shoot system where you're gonna be able to go do like a scout survey like you would with something like architecture or agriculture, build a 3D model through DJI's cloud rendering stuff, and then map out your shoot, then and then upload that to the DJI Go 4 app, which then you're gonna be able to do a pre-planned route. So if you're going out to do some complex shooting, you're taking a day of scouting, you can actually build your whole shoot plan there, and then you can edit it and then bring it back in and have it just kind of run it automated. All right guys, so I didn't think this was gonna happen, but I got one of the new lenses here for the X7. So this is a 16mm lens. So a couple things about these that you can see. They have this kind of printed carbon fiber on the outside, not real carbon fiber, but really nice high-end feel on the lenses. They're called DL mounts, so that's the new DJI mount. They have this semi-little matte box lens hood on the front that's really small, low profile. They're all exactly the same, so they weigh very close to the same. They've got threaded 46mm threads on the inside for a filter. So if you want to throw an ND, a circular polarizer, whatever on here, you can. So right there, 46mm. All of these lenses are going to be 2.8 across the board. This is the 16mm. I think they have a 16, a 24, 28, and a 50. And overall, the feel of these is fantastic. What makes these a DL mount, you can see all the pins here on the bottom. So let's see if we can get this. Yeah, so all the pins here on the bottom. And then a pretty good size, all metal mounting ring. So they're combination metal plastic. Overall, really high-end feel on them. I think we've got something really, really nice coming with CineCore 2.1, the X7, and these new DJI Cinema lenses. I'm in. I think they look great. Okay, so I like the new X7. I like the new lenses. I like CineCore 2.1. There are a few things lately about DJI that have been driving me absolutely crazy. I've talked about this in the past. I think I put it on my Crystal Sky video, which you're gonna actually see after this one. But I've got issues with no-fly zones being unlocked or not being unlocked. I've got issues with being able to fly indoors in no-fly zone areas. So I think DJI is really jumping in here with the professional crowd, and one thing about filmmaking is that I can be in one location today, one location tomorrow, with not a lot of time to scout ahead of time. I might have just a day, I might have no time to scout ahead of time, so I might have to rely on something to see if something's in a no-fly zone and try and get it unlocked beforehand. That's not a good solution. DJI really needs to step it up and have the Part 107 flyers, the ones that are 333 exempt, or the ones that are flying under some blanket COA for an area that they're allowed to fly in. They need to allow us to unlock those zones and take that responsibility into our hands. They could track it, they could log it, they could do whatever, but this kind of BS about having no-fly zones just completely blocked out, and I have to send an email to a service in China that's been really overrun. We've seen that in Texas. Just isn't a good solution. So my hope here is that DJI, at some point, now that they're really trying to get deep into the cinema market, from the M600 to now the X7 on the Inspire 2, work with us so that we can get these no-fly zones unlocked as professional operators and bring that onus onto us. Sign a liability release, any of us would do it. We all have insurance, whatever it is. But that's my one gripe right now with DJI. If you solve that and stop with the no-fly zone updates to where I can't fly in areas that I know that I can fly in, then you're probably going to have issues. So I would love to see community people come together, try to put some pressure on DJI or work with DJI and try and solve this issue. But overall, what I can tell you from a technology standpoint is that they're not standing still. You know, you see something like this is a whole new system coming out, and this isn't even working on their partnership with Hasselblad. You see a whole new system like this coming out where they're clearly aiming at not only the prosumer anymore, but really the professional market. And they've got a lot of, you know, they really are the 800-pound gorilla, but they're not stepping behind in technology either. They're pressing it with something like this. The clarity, the color space, everything else coming out of the X7 is just phenomenal. All right, guys, I had to step out so that you could hear me. That pretty much concludes the DJI event. Really cool stuff from the X7, the 4 lenses that are there. I made a mistake earlier. It's actually a 16, a 24, a 35, and a 50. They're all 2.8 aperture, really nice, solid lenses. I did some talking with DJI. I talked earlier about the no-fly zone issue. They are working on something that they've said. They couldn't really say what it is right now, but they're guys that are head of policy. They are working on something for the professional flyers to be able to manage those no-fly zones somehow. They didn't really have anything to say about it. But so look for that coming up. But overall, really solid. These are going to be available early November. They said with good quantity for the people that are going to want them. So I think overall, you know, $26.99 for the camera. $26.99 for the camera sounds expensive, but 6K, 30 frames a second at 12-bit, 5.2K Apple ProRes at 30 frames a second. Big step up from the X5S. I'm excited. I'm going to sell my X5S. I'm going to get an X7. Probably going to get the 4-lens set. So look for that stuff coming up. I'll do some videos and stuff on it as I get things rolling more. Been so busy right now, as you saw, with the studio construction, with everything else, a lot of travel going on. But getting back into the swing of things, slowly getting there. But overall, great event from DJI. Thank you, DJI, for the invite. and for the candid conversations. Lots of stuff that we talked about, from Hasselblad to some other stuff. You know, one of the things that I asked him, I said, you know, I'm really glad that you guys are bringing out this camera, because coming here, I did not want to see something like a Phantom 5 or an Inspire 3. They did say it's going to be a decent amount of time before you see a Phantom 5. It's going to be a long time before we see an Inspire 3. They said that they have an internal roadmap on the Inspire 2 to keep on adding to it and using that as a base to build from. That's really exciting, because there's so much that they can do with this platform. I love my Inspire 2. It's a thrill to fly. It's such an improvement over the Inspire 1. So, you know, I've used it now. We'll have some stuff coming out soon, but I recently shot a commercial with Epson using my, well, actually I used everything. I used the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, I used the Inspire 2, and I used the Mavic, didn't use the Spark. But you know, overall, I love the platform, the Inspire 2, it's great. If we can get this no-fly zone, you know, kind of stuff worked around, then I think from a technology perspective, it's a no-brainer. You know, you can absolutely shoot it on features. I shot 2 features with it this summer where I shot the aerial shots for it. It's every bit as capable right now with the X5S, but the X7 is just going to step it up even more. You know, hearing the One Colors talk about the wide gamut there and how the color space is nearly as deep as something like a Red or something as an Arri Alexa. You know, I can already take my X5S footage, match that pretty well to an Arri Alexa Mini, to, you know, to the Arri Log if I'm shooting in D-Log, and that's fantastic. So overall, I think a lot of people were thinking that this camera is going to be a lot more expensive, although $2,700 isn't chump change. You know, $1,299 or $1,199 for the lenses, that's pretty standard for a pro-level lens. I had a chance to talk to Devin Graham from Devin Supertramp. I'm sure that you guys have seen his videos before, because he was talking about how this really holds up close to his red helium. You know, so I dug in afterwards. I was like, seriously, does it really? And he was like, it really does. You know, if they're using some high-end cinema lenses, like maybe some Arri Ultra Primes or Master Primes, or some Canon CNEs or something, of course there's a little bit of difference. But if they're using like their SLR lenses or some other lenses that aren't at the very tip of the top, I mean, like Cooke S4s or something, you're saying like going across there, you really can't tell the difference, and the quality is there every bit as it is. You know, shooting 6K on his Red or whatever. So I'm really excited. Being able to shoot 6K at 30 frames a second is going to leave a ton for cropping. I'm going to have to try and do some tests with shooting 6K in the studio with the Inspire 2 and just see what happens. All right, guys, that's it for me. I want to cut this now so that I can edit it, I can get it up, show you guys, and thank you so much for watching BillNicholsTV. All right, guys, so this is it. Into the DJI event. This is it, end of the DJI event. Thank you so much for watching, for sticking by. More stuff is starting to come. I'm starting to get back into the flow of things. I've been traveling a lot lately though. But one last thing, thank you to everybody that did send in either an intro or an introduction to themselves, letting me know that they could make an intro. I am looking for somebody to make an intro for my channel, or to make a few intros. It'll be a paid gig. I could do it, but I know that there's tons of talented people on here that watch these videos, or they know somebody that's really good with motion graphics. I'm not looking for anything crazy, 3D or anything. I want a nice, clean, simple 5 to 7 second intro. You've seen mine. I don't put it on any longer, but the one where I hand drew it with watercolors. I loved it for the first year, but kind of season 2, I want to go back, have somebody make something. So get in touch with me. Email me at BillNicholsTV@gmail.com. Either send me a reel or let me know, what you think you can do. We can start talking. And I just want to kind of spread the love around, have somebody make an intro for me, and I will pay you to be part of the community. And I've got a lot of community stuff coming up, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Throw this video a like so that it gets up there, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. See you.